What's up, teammates? So, I was thinking maybe yesterday was a bit of an overreaction because I did see that Aiden was supposed to play the first quarter, Gardner was supposed to play the second quarter. They didn't want to get away from that. Could be the reason they pulled Aiden O'Connell out early. So, maybe that's just not as obvious indicator as I thought it was. So, I'll give it that. That was brought to my attention while watching someone else's video. I said, okay, maybe I was a little too full on that main part of it. But I still believe that, of course, Aiden's going to start. I still believe that what happened in that game is even more evidence of why Aiden will start. Although Gardner Minshew did make some plays, if you look back at what he did, it's inconsistent. And that's what the problem is with Gardner Minshew. He has the ability to make it happen, but he also has the ability to tear the whole damn thing down. And his minuses don't outweigh his positive consistently enough to make him a reliable, talented quarterback. Which, on the other hand, reliability is Aiden's middle name. Well, it could be. Because if you look at the drives, you can see how consistent and how straightforward in the lineage of the attack as the drives go. So, what do I mean by that? Let's talk about the drive a little bit. We'll start with Aiden's drive. All right, so he hits off Michael Mayer for a short one over the middle. He sees Jacoby, hits him over on a deep route for about 30 yards. The next play comes up. It's a screen to Jacoby because it's an RPO, and I think he makes the right call and going to the play and going to Jacoby in the outside wide receiver screen. They go back for the next play. They try to wide receiver screen again because it's another RPO, but we throw it to Wilkerson, and he's not as savvy as Jacoby, and he doesn't really pick up very much. So we go back to Jacoby for another 15-yard pass. Then what do we do? Oh, we hit AOC. He goes on a rollout. The play is broken down. He decides to basically throw the ball away. He's rolling out to the right. He's rolling out towards the sideline. He basically takes the ball and throws it at his receiver's feet, not trying to make necessarily a pass because he thinks a little too dangerous because of the way the flow of the play. So he threw what seemed to be a bad ball, but actually he just was giving up on the play. So next, he hits Bowers on his quick route across the middle under his read. Ball a little low, but Brock corrals it in and gets some yak afterwards. They goes two straight runs. They go back to Bowers. Another run. We try the completion to Turner. DJ Turner, what I think it was, or was it Tucker? Either one. It was a weird play because we tried a fade route to the back of the end zone with one of our shortest wide receivers, but I don't know. Whatever. That was the call. He made the throw for the call. Then on the next play, we had a chance to try to punch it in. It was, and it ended up being a sack. Somebody caught Aiden down from the front. It's actually the same guy who put pressure on him on his second pass to Brock Bowers. So, and that's it. I mean, really, that's as exciting as it gets. It just happened. That's the way it went down. Now, see, if you go to Gardner Minshew stuff, it sounds like it's the same, but it's not when you hear what's actually happening. So, first play, he got turned on a good 20-yard route downfield. Second play, he threw an incomplete pass way above and behind the wide receiver where the wide receiver can only get one hand on it. He tapped the ball. They do a run. Next play, it's a third down. Minshew can't find anybody. He scrambles for the first down. I think it was about a 7-yard rush. Uh, to me, he left the pocket too early. But anyway, uh, that's part of Gardner Minshew's game. He leaves the pocket early. So people say he can run well. I say he leaves the pocket early because if he stays in there and it's a heavy rush, he can't see what the hell's going on, and he has to get out of the pocket to find a passing lane. But regardless, that's just football talking. Let's get back to another next play. It's a play action pass. Minshew leaves the pocket on the scramble, can't find anything, and throws it out of bounds. Next play, he gets a penalty for 5 yards. Next play, he hits Trey Tucker with the 44-yard bomb downfield when Trey Tucker made the great grab. Now, it was a great pass considering it got caught. But that's not the pass you wanted in that situation. If Trey Tucker doesn't make that catch, no one is going to say, dang, Trey Tucker should have had that diving full extent catch that he had to look over his head and then over his other shoulder because the ball was misplaced. He should have had that. No, they just said that was a terrible pass by Gardner Minshew because the pass was about 7 yards left of where it was supposed to be because he's supposed to look inside and catch it deep on the inside, but he had to look inside and track the ball all the way around, cross his body off to the other shoulder, and then dive to get the ball. That's hard to do, and that's an incredible catch. So, yeah, he threw a great ball, but it wasn't like he threw a nice long reception, but it wasn't like he just got out there and did something fresh. It was more about the receiver's catch than it was about the fact that it was a bad ball, to tell the truth. Next play is a run. Next play, a Gardner Minshew scramble because he leaves the pocket and throws a hospital ball and gets that dude hurt. Same play as Aiden O'Connell was running. He's scrambled, heading to the sideline, off to the right. He can't find anybody. In Aiden's situation, he threw the ball at the receiver's feet because that was the safest play. And that's what he wants. He wants ball security. And that is a ball security type play. That's a smart football play. That's what you want out of a professional football player. Gardner Minshew, in the same situation, threw up a hospital ball and got that dude's clock cleaned out. Now, imagine that Gardner was in there with the first team and he threw that hospital ball to Brock Bowers. And Brock got hurt first preseason game because he had Minshew out there and he had a hospital ball thrown to him that he had to go for. That's inconsistencies. You can't just make a good pass and then a bad pass, make a decent play and then a terrible play. You can't let a wide receiver out make you shine on a bad ball and then turn around and throw a hospital ball to one of your best players. In that instance, he was, his best tight end. Our best tight ends were off the field at that point, fortunately. So, if you look at the whole game, the work in the game, Gardner's game was up and down. It was inconsistent. He did a great play, then a bad play. Then something stupid when it comes down to a penalty, a pre-snap penalty. Your quarterback can't get a delay of game call in a preseason game. That's just dumb. And then you get bailed out by talent because the whole thing is if you put talent around somebody who's not all that good, they can make them look pretty good. So that ball looked good because Trey Tucker did a good job catching it, not because it was thrown in a great situation or the great position. The hospital ball, you can't do that stuff to your players. Okay? The quarterback has to be smart enough to know that, okay, we'll just get to the next play and I'll throw the ball at his feet and let's go back again. Not, I got to try to make something happen right now. Ooh, look, I think he's open now. Let me throw the ball to him and see if I can get us downfield and get him murder-loided. You know what I mean? So it's consistency. There's nothing really interesting to speak about Aiden's, passes. I mean, I could talk about what I thought was good, how he navigated the pocket well, in my opinion, and stepped up and made passes. But, I didn't want to overdo anything positive because it would make it seem like I'm overdoing the negatives on Gardner Minshew. And it wasn't I was trying to be negative. I'm trying to say what the coaches are looking at, not what's actually happening. And what the coaches are seeing is up and down behavior in a preseason game against second team players. And the behavior that could lose the game for you, or worse off, lose one of your players. Now, I'm not saying Aiden O'Connell was never throwing a bad ball that could have ended up being a hospital ball at some point in his career. I don't know. It has happened. It probably. What I do know is I've never seen it happen, and I know I've seen Gardner Minshew do it, and more than once, because I looked at his film after we got him to see what he was all about. So I didn't want to come out and just overreact and be a little bullish and too bullheaded about Aiden's performance and why I think he would be the starter, basically because he had the first quarter and then he sat. But maybe if there was another chance for a run in the first quarter, Aiden would have probably gotten back out there. I think we'll see what they do this next preseason game. I don't see them changing anything. I think they need to make sure that Aiden gets his rep with the first team. So they'll go with Aiden first. They'll go with Minshew next. And after the game is when they're going to have to officially announce, okay, we're going to go with Aiden for the season. And that's the end of it, right? Because Antonio Pierce did say that specifically and very clearly. So once Minshew Mania or Team Aiden gets the call right, and whoever the starter is, that's it in AP's mind. That's our starter until he gets hurt. Until then, he's not going to be looking over his shoulder saying, oh, we had such a hard fight in preseason. Is it my turn? Is it his turn? Was this a bad thought? He doesn't want that on his quarterback every single play. So when it happens, it'll happen, and Aiden will be the starter, and we're going to have a good season. And if our talent can make Gardner Minshew look good, they're going to make Aiden O'Connell look better, in my opinion. So those who watch and say Gardner Minshew had a good game, you can see the things that made him look like he had a good game. But if you look a little deeper into what actually happened during the game, you can see why a coach would want to go towards what Aiden O'Connell's talents are as opposed to Gardner Minshew. Minshew's true talent is creation. And that's it. And if there's nothing there to create, then there's just nothing there. And he's stuck, and he has to go to his creation because he's just not that much of a talented read and react quarterback. He has to use his abilities to create. And, it works for him, but it's not always going to work. It's not reliable. It's not consistent enough to think that you're going to have game reliance game after game as far as protecting the ball goes, because if he got somebody popped on a hospital ball, he's just as likely to throw a bad interception in a bad situation trying to make a good play. And you can't stop him from doing that. That's all he is. So you can't change what he is as a quarterback. You just have to live with what he does and hope that it works out when he's going. Because when he's going, it goes well. but he's not always going. And Aiden's play is more reliable because it's consistent. And, even if you go back and review the plays aren't all that striking and incredible. There's not a lot of extra action. It's drop back, see the open man, hit him for this many yards, drop back, hit him for this many yards. It's not drop back, I can't find anybody, scramble, get some yards. It doesn't look as flashy as if you watch Gardner Minshew, but it is not something that you can rely on. And that is what every coach is looking for out of their quarterback. And more specifically, that is what Antonio Pierce needs out of his quarterback. He needs ball protection. He doesn't need creation. He doesn't need feet. He needs ball protection. And that's Aiden's job, and he does it well. Now, Minshew's job is to create plays, and he does it well, but not well enough to be a starter somewhere. Otherwise, he'd be starting somewhere. And for all you people out there, just let me bring this part up. You say Aiden stinks and he shouldn't even be on the team and he's barely a decent backup quarterback. Gardner's just so much better a quarterback because of his escapability. You idiots are making your own point. You're saying that Gardner Minshew is good, but you're just saying he's barely better than Aiden because he's not clearly getting the job, so he's just barely better than Aiden. And if Aiden sucks so bad, well, then Gardner Minshew just barely sucks a little bit more than that. So the better Aiden is, the better Gardner Minshew is because he's only a little bit better than Aiden in their minds. In their minds. Even the people in Minshew Mania are willing to lament that Minshew's lead, if they believe he has one over Aiden O'Connell, is not far. So if Aiden O'Connell is a F, then Gardner Minshew must be a F plus or a D minus, or because he's not that far ahead of him, right? That's what you guys lament on both sides. On one side, you say Aiden stinks and he's not even a decent backup quarterback. But on the other side, you lament that, Gardner Minshew's better, but, not really much better. I want us to go with Gardner Minshew. So, prove your own point, shut your own mouth. That's fine with me. But the point is, the silver lining is Antonio Pierce and the rest of the coaching squad knows what consistency is. They know what it looks like, and they know that's how you win games. With 10 yards to Mayer, 30 yards to Jacoby, 5 yards to Jacoby, screen to Wilkerson, 15 to Jacoby, 13 to Bowers, incomplete rollout pass, another 13 to Bowers, a bad pass on a fade that shouldn't have been called to our shortest player. Maybe I'm giving him a pass on a bad throw, by the way, and then a sack. We could have put it in, and he got a sack, so he didn't put it in. What you can't rely on is Turner on 20, and then incomplete behind the next player, and then losing the play and having to scramble out at the last minute, ended up getting the first down because he created it, which is unreliable. Then he threw an excellent pass on that 20-yard touchdown. There is nothing bad about that pass. The rollout was good. He saw the angle. He put it right where it had to be and let Turner run up to the ball and get it. It was right there. It was past everybody. It was fabulous pass, and I wouldn't take anything away from it at all. Next play is a run. Next play is another scramble incompletion. The next play is a penalty, delay of the game. The next play is the pass to Trey Tucker, which was an incredible reception on a terrible pass. You can ask anybody that, because if he didn't make that catch, nobody was going to say, hey, Trey Tucker messed that one up. They're going to say that was a tough catch to make. So, next, he throws the hospital ball and almost gets our third tight end hurt. Well, he gets him hurt. He's hurt, but not, out of the game hurt, but he felt it. Then he was able to connect a 7-yard pass to Colt, the dude he almost got killed. And then he hit a nice swing pass out of the backfield to Sincere McCormick. So it was exciting to watch the ups and downs and the hills and the valleys, but you can't rely on this type of stuff. It's not consistent. And that's why you can't start him. And that's why they got him, because they know he can do it, but he can't do it all the time. And that's why they're going to have Aiden, because it's consistent. It's the way it's supposed to be. It's on time, and it goes inside of the offense. Not a scramble touchdown, a scramble incompletion, a scramble hospital ball. You see, all his plays, most of his his receptions and good balls are coming on scrambles, and you can't rely on scrambling late in the game when you're up by 3 points. You got to rely on your quarterback's ability to run the offense, in my opinion. So, this probably ran a little bit long. Maybe you didn't want to hear it, but watching the game, watching it play by play, and I believe I'm being extremely fair about this, because I'm not making up what happened in these play sheets, and I don't think I'm exaggerating on either side and intentionally tried to play down any positives about what I saw in Aiden, as far as I thought he making the right read, his movement in the pocket is improving, his rollout pass when he rolled out to escape. I didn't bring up anything that mentioned him being more mobile, because I just wanted to keep it there. I'm mentioning it now because I want to say, why I held back and what I held back, in my opinion. So, Gardner Minshew is too heady, too much hills and valley. It's too unreliable. You can't use that for a full season, and something like that, you can't turn that into consistency. You just have to live with what it is and hope it does what it does when it does it right. And when he does it right, it looks good. When he does it wrong, it's destructive. So, saying Gardner Minshew get it done, at times, yes. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the sheet, it shows he didn't get it done, then he did, then he didn't, then he did. So, the silver lining is, Aiden's better than Gardner Minshew, but if Aiden's not there, it doesn't mean that we're just screwed, because Gardner Minshew can't pull it off. But consistency is what we're looking for. Aiden's consistent. Gardner's all over the place. And Antonio Pierce wants consistency. That's just what it is. So, remember, you can't win them all. The clouds get dark. When you're looking for the bright side, head to the silver lining. Guru out.